Hi guys, good morning, good day, good evening, whatever time you're watching this video. It's Ian Thompson again. I thought I'd come and speak to you today about a verse that the Bible's just full of these verses, what I call the meat on the bone, that I go to, and it's John 6:68, but it's part of a bigger passage. So we start at chapter 6, verse 60. And Jesus has just taught in the synagogue, and he's gave some very difficult things for them to understand about accepting him and eating off his flesh and everything. And the disciples are all rubbing their heads and thinking, this is very confusing. This is a very difficult thing for us to understand. We can't really accept this teaching. It's far too troublesome. And in these times where it's difficult to accept the way we're living, it's difficult to accept the restrictions we have, it's difficult to accept other things, we tend to think, well, we can't cope with this, we'll go somewhere else. And I'll read it out to you. It starts at verse 60, as I say. So it's John 6, verse 60. And on hearing it, many of his disciples said, well, this is a hard teaching. Who can accept it? Aware of his disciples grumbling about this, Jesus said to them, does what I said offend you? Then what if you see the Son of Man ascend to where he was before? The Spirit gives life, the flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you are full of the Spirit and life. Yet there are some of you who do not believe. For Jesus had known from the beginning which of them did not believe and who would betray him. He went on to say, this is why I told you that no one can come to me unless the Father has enabled them. From this time, many of his disciples turned back and they no longer followed Jesus. That's incredible, isn't it, when you think about it? And then he turned round to the 12 and he said, you do not want to leave too, do you? And this is the verse that just gets me every time. And it was Simon Peter. Simon Peter answered him and said, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and to know that you are the Holy One of God. Then Jesus replied, have I not chosen you the 12? Yet one of you is the devil. And he meant Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, who would be the one who would betray him later. But the thing that pops to my mind when I'm praying in these times and in any times of trouble is the verse that says, I'm just struggling with all this and I'm not sure what's happening. And then I think, well, where else can I go? I have to go to Jesus because he has the words of eternal life. And I've come to believe that he's the Son of God. So where else would I go? I could go to the news, I could go to friends who would agree with my point of view, but that doesn't help. Where should I go? I should go to Jesus, because he has the words of eternal life. This life is fleeting. It's like a grain of sand, it tells us. So when you're going through trouble just now, and we all are, we're all going through our fights and our wars, and nothing is easy, then remember, where do you go? To whom do you go? And if you are a Christian and you're struggling slightly and you're thinking, I don't know what's happening here, and Jesus says to you, well, do you want to leave me as well? What do you say? You say, well, where else would I go? Because Jesus, you have the words of eternal life. Have a great day. Have a great time. God bless you. Take care.